Hello and welcome back to the Libra seasonal reading. Not Libra. Yes, Libra. Okay. This is really fascinating. I love how this is displaying. So I just want to like hold all the cards up so that you guys can see what I'm seeing. All right, because I'm actually like blown I'm like blown away. Um Let me just make sure they're all in the correct order. Okay. So See, I hope that you guys can see how I'm seeing it. We have, of course, this Three of Cups here, and then we have the Seven of Wands and the Seven of Wands and the Seven of Swords, and then the Seven of Pentacles and then the Seven of Swords as well. Actually, it's more like this. Actually, there we go. So you can see distinctively here that I. Okay, so I'm wondering, especially since the readings leading up to the Libra seasonal Libra seasonal reading, the collective has been experiencing almost, it looks like two different timelines. Initially, it was being characterized as reality versus an illusion, but of course, that depends on which side you are perceiving. So if you are on, it's showing up as red and blue. This theme is I mean, it keeps showing up every single time. It keeps showing up, red and blue, and it's almost like It's coming through as like two opposing timelines that, well, some of us are on this blue timeline and some of us are on this red timeline, and either it looks like the timelines are joining. I don't know if they're joining or not. I don't know. It's been showing up differently in all of the readings. It's kind of like you have the ability to be on either side of the timeline, on either side, the red or the blue. There was Okay, so let me just slow down a bit. All right. It initially showed up in Leo's reading as Leo was creating an illusion, but it was that other people were perceiving it as an illusion, but it was Leo's reality, and that was this blue timeline. And then in Cancer, it was showing up as Cancer knew the reality of the situation, and they were presenting themselves in a red timeline. And because the timelines were not cohesive with each other, like Cancer was kind of like leaving, right? And going off into another space. Then in the Gemini reading, it was referring to Gemini was kind of, it's actually very interesting. Gemini was almost on the outskirts, almost kind of like Gemini had already gone through this process and was watching it happen and other people, but like watching it through their eyes, almost like a remote viewing type of thing. And then in the Taurus reading, Taurus was actually trying to blend the two realities into one, and it was like creating this, like a purple it's coming through as different colors, but it was creating like a purple timeline, like blending both of them together, understanding that each one has a little bit of truth and each one has illusion. And then in the Aries reading, it was referring to actually like they were kind of breaking away from from the red timeline and breaking away into the blue. So it's like all of us are being given an opportunity of deciding where we want to be in our lives. What timeline do we want to be on? And of course, every decision is an absolutely, it's a valid decision, right? So you can decide where you want to be. And I think that the looming deadline here that's showing up is, it's like that doorway that is being presented. Maybe that door is actually going to be like locked if the decision is not. Well, see, and that's the thing though. It's like we're being pushed in a direction regardless, but the looming deadline is like, make sure that you are where you want to be before all of this happens so that you can experience it and as a new beginning instead of as this like detrimental tower moment. So it's almost like they're kind of, I don't know, are they collapsing? Are they collapsing in on each other? Or is it remaining separated? I can't, that part, I can't see. But if it is coming together in this type of way, like as if they're, it's like they're cross. Okay, that's what this is. That's what this is. It's like this with this Two of Swords that's coming out here. Sorry, I'm figuring this out as I'm speaking. So, you know, I do get a little bit of the message ahead of time, but a lot of it is processed as I speak. So this Two of Swords here talks about a cross, like a crossroads. That's what this is. So that's what this moment is. There's going to be a moment here where these two timelines cross over one another, and it's at that cross point that we have the choice of deciding if we want to take it, what turn do we want to take. Do we want to continue along the path that we're going, which is whatever timeline you in, red, blue, however you want to perceive it, or you also have the opportunity to be able to jump into a new space, have a new beginning, maybe take that corner or take that leap, if you will, into a new timeline, a new perception of, or a new perception of the timeline that you are currently on. So it seems like a lot of this actually has to do with perception, which of course, if you shift your perception, then the entire space around you shifts as well, which can look like being in a new timeline. So I think that's what, I think that is why both of these, both of the individuals that are on the red or the blue timeline are, they're both showing up as the Seven of Swords. And of course the Seven of Swords talks about actually wanting to get away from a scenario or a situation, and like leaving it behind, but not actually communicating any of that. It's kind of like, it is kind of a sneaking off energy, like trying to avoid the situation. um so all of us are experiencing this part where we're trying to avoid the situation. And during this avoidance, there's a lot of strategy that's being devised on both sides as to how to, I guess, move forward, if you will. So, but the interesting thing though is that we're all coming up to this deadline, regardless of what side we're on. Well, okay, so regardless of what side we're on, we're all coming up to this deadline. Yes. Okay. Okay. Because at first I was like, I'm just seeing this red, and I'm like, okay, well maybe it's just this red side that would be experienced this tower moment, but it's not. This ribbon on the mask here is the blue side as well. So all of us are going to be experiencing this regardless of which timeline we're on. It doesn't matter. It's happening. Okay, but maybe both sides might be experiencing it a little bit differently. So let's just get into that. So what I'm seeing here is that of course we have this 3 of cups. This 3 of cups is acting as an energy that is calling us all like gently forward. It's this star. It's this star energy. It's also when you look at the world card here, it's all of these ones that are down here. Like all of these ones that that are actually, well, what's coming through is that their perspective of this is that they are actually witnessing the birth of everyone's new beginning. It's like witnessing the birth of humanity into a whole new place of being. And they're, what I'm seeing is like they are actually kind of surrounding all of us in our experience and are beckoning us forward. It's a very it's a very soothing it's a very soothing and peaceful energy that is being put out to to make us feel like comfortable in the decisions that we're making to move forward in our progress. So you might actually sense this as peace. So whenever you come into a space where you're like, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to jump into this new beginning of mine, however it presents to you. It's going to present to all of us very differently and individually. So whenever it presents itself, you're going to know that this is the correct, well, correct direction for you, because there will be a sense of peace and calm and serenity. It's coming through as like a serene serenity feeling that is going to come over you. It it looks like ease. It does feel and look like ease. It's like your heart is going to know that this is the right direction for you. I don't want to say it's necessarily the correct direction, but it is the right one for you. Because if we call it the correct direction, if you will, that might not be what's also correct for someone else. So, but it is for you. So if you go into this actually with a more, if you take more of a mental or a logical approach to it, like perhaps maybe this decision that's being made doesn't make sense. Like other people in your life might think that this decision doesn't make any sense. That was the distinction of it being correct or not correct. And so if you were to take a more logical approach, kind of eliminate the heart element to it, then that's where you get this tower. That's that's why this tower would then come. So what's interesting here is, we have four sevens out here. We've got the Seven of Wands twice. No, sorry. The Seven of Wands, the Seven of Swords twice. And then we also have the Seven of Pentacles. But there's no cups here. And the cup is the heart. The cup is the heart energy. It's like when whatever decision is made to go in whichever direction is the best for you, that the energy that needs to be utilized in order to make this transition be more comfortable or less abrasive, it's the cup energy. You have to use the cup energy. Like the water, have to use the water. So the emotions, like almost like following your emotions, following the good emotions. So what I'm seeing here on this red side, just kind of break away a little bit for a second. Hang on, there's something coming through with that. Breaking away for a moment. Having a break, if you will, from society, from the influence of other people, would actually help to put you in your energy. And when you're in your space, in your energy, without influence and without anything that is draining you, you'll be able to utilize all of that, all of your strength, all of your emotions, all of your mental capacity as well, to be able to see where you are and also how to move forward. So maybe what is being suggested here is actually taking a break. Like putting a little bit of a barrier, put a little bit of a barrier between you and the rest of society. So, this red side, if you find yourself to be on the red side, you're coming through with the Seven of Wands and the Seven of Swords. So with the Seven of Swords, you are actually hearing this call to take the leap. What I'm seeing here is that they're actually at the bottom of this ravine. It's like there's a ravine, jump into the water. So there's a ravine and they're calling you forth to jump into this water here. And what I'm witnessing is you actually fighting against it. You're coming through as hang on, the word just actually like slipped my mind. Defensive. You're coming through as actually very defensive against this. Okay, that's interesting. It's actually coming through as like a sisterhood. Actually, the word that's coming through is a sorority. Very defensive against this sorority or sisterhood. But what they're actually presenting to you, like if they're all standing at the bottom of this cliff here underneath you, what they're presenting to you is the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands, I mean, it talks about your success, your recognition, the ability to be able to achieve all the things that you desire. So there's something in this that it's like you're pushed, they're actually recognizing you. These three, whatever this energy is that is beckoning you forward, they're actually recognizing you in your position and your strength and in all of the things that you have achieved, and they're wanting to pull you in to more of that. They're wanting to pull more of your success to the forward. But for some reason, this side here is actively like pushing it away, and then also wanting to kind of escape out the back door, wanting to actually leave the entire situation. But what I'm seeing here that is calling actually both sides forward is it's a beautiful community. It might be a community that you haven't yet experienced before. It's brand new. It's something that is incredibly brand new. And maybe that's what this is. Maybe because you don't exactly understand what's going on here, is like there's resistance. There's a resistance that's being brought to the surface. So on this blue side here, if you find yourself on the blue side, they're showing up as this Seven of Pentacles, and then of course the Seven of Swords again. And this one is also being called as well. Actually, I'm just now suddenly seeing that perhaps maybe this is two sides of yourself as well. Like maybe this is all happening within the individual. Because it's interesting because I often see red and blue as the divine, like a feminine and your masculine energy. Okay, so like this red here would be representative actually of the feminine energy, and the blue being representative of the masculine energy. So it's like I'm wanting to take this out of people being on either side, because if we are experiencing all of this as seeing that people are on other sides or separate sides, that is an internal reflection that our energy within ourselves is it's split, right? It's there is a division, there's a divide that is happening here. So maybe perhaps like looking at this as the red being your feminine energy and the blue being your masculine energy. So this masculine energy is looking towards this Three of Cups as not really knowing if it's something that it wants to invest in. Is this actually worth it? Is this worth investing in? I don't really know if it's worth investing in because maybe because of previous scenarios, things like that. Perhaps maybe projecting onto it that it's never happened successfully before, and so therefore is this worth investing in? And then kind of deciding to not invest. But what I'm seeing here is that it would actually be a good investment, because if you were to take all of these crops and put them in this Three of Cups down here, there's a lot of, like, there's water down here, there's nutrients, there are other plants that are incredibly prolific. You see, there's a lot of growth that's happening here. So it's like I know that we've kind of like shifted the dynamic of what's actually happening, and instead of separating it it out into people being on both sides or either side. All of us, it's very interesting. All of us are actually on both sides, but it's like that. It's like, and that's what the Taurus reading was trying to do. It was actually trying to merge both of these. So it's almost like we're coming up to a point where we are being given the opportunity, and it's Libra season, so things coming into balance, right? Balance even in partnership. Libra rules partnership. So that actually also includes partnership with ourselves. So we're coming up to a point where we're being given the opportunity to be able to merge our feminine and our masculine energies. And it's like that is the new beginning. That's the new beginning. That's what this is. That's the World card. That's very interesting because when I'm thinking about other depictions of the World card in several other tarot, and when you look at it, they're actually the the individual that is typically displayed on the World card actually has a androgynous look to them, which would signify the merger of the masculine and the feminine energy. So it's like that merger would create, it's almost like that merger, there's an there's a message of that when this starts to come, of course, you can decide if you want to hop to the other side. This is all a learning process. So if you are in the development of your masculine or your feminine energy, this will be a good point in time to kind of switch to the other side. So that side can be developed, of course. And then maybe in the future, it could come into a merger. But there's also a note here that you can actually create a brand new timeline where both of these energies are merged. It's like instead of just jumping to the other side, like there's almost like there would be a separate, because I'm starting to see this World card, like it's the buoyancy. There's a buoyant and blissful energy that's coming with this World card as they both would be coming together and being birthed into this new space of being. So to recognize this within yourself, the feminine energy is defensive, perhaps wanting to protect their space and the things that they have already achieved. Okay? The masculine energy here is not seeing this as a worthy investment. It's almost like all of this stuff is, in a sense, it's like we're not perceiving it correctly because we're not seeing it. You have to feel it instead of using your logical mind for all of this. It needs to be felt. It needs to be felt with the heart, because in order to make any decision that you find yourself in especially with this Two of Swords, it's like you cannot use your mind to make this decision. You have to use your heart. So now you at least know how the masculine and the feminine energy is feeling, and if there is a continuation of not seeing or gaining more perspective on it, the result is this is it's the result is the separation. The result would continue to be the separation of this red and blue, or masculine and feminine energy. It's like they're both in the Seven of Swords. They're both like split off, sneaking away from each other. And of course, there are 4 sevens here. So 7 for me talks about actually the protection. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. Sevens talk to me about the protection of a merger. And this star here, and this star energy here, this is what the merger looks like. And so with all of these sevens here, it's like the protection of this merger, if it is to come together, would be solidified. It's a brand new foundation. That's why that tower moment needs to happen, because this would then create a brand new foundation for this merger. Okay. So, collective, thank you so much for watching this Libra seasonal reading. It was very informative. I know it was kind of all over the place because I'm actually processing and figuring it out as it's coming out. So thank you for understanding. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.